Casino Resort LA also shows the biggest cards with full sound, high energy, and a crowd.
It is a Monday, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Super Bowl is set. Super Bowl 60. The New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks. Who had that one before the season started? Nobody. Some people had Seattle. That would have been a solid pick. No one had New England, which means no one had this pick. So we got something like we normally get. We normally get surprised by the Super Bowl matchup. NFL coaches, 4 jobs left. We'll debate those today. Kind of dive into that. Sean Payton blowing the AFC Championship game by not going for the field goal. Did we have anything on that, Clay, with Payton?
Yeah, you want something?
Yeah, him on not going for the field goal. What's happening, everybody? Mike McDaniel going to the Chargers. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You had to be pretty stupid to think he was coming to the Raiders. If you don't know Mike McDaniel and Las Vegas, to put that together, I mean, I didn't even address it. As I told you, I didn't even mention it. It was so stupid. I'm not saying he won't do well with the Chargers, but he's not a head coach. He's not a head coach. And, you know, the Charger job with Justin Herbert is a good job if you can turn him around and win some playoff games. No stiddy. No more stiddy talk. Please hit like and subscribe. I hope you like that. A lot of people subscribe to our Rod Woodson podcast. I hope you like that. And let's have a great show today.
Clearing his gambler's four-of-a-kind bingo card for almost $7,000. Robert hit big, and so can you.
How was everybody's weekend? I had a good one. It's freaking nuts out here. AFC weekend, championship weekend, NFC.
Yeah, KRLP Las Vegas.
Everybody can hear our audio good?
It's the Brick Show.
Can you hear that good?
Never sure we're going to have a chance. Stores back home just 25.
Man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, we begin a Monday right here in Las Vegas, the sports and entertainment capital of the world. We got 150 people in our live stream to start. That's good, considering we started with nothing. And we got this thing moving. We're live on YouTube, so you can catch the body language of the show. Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m., the Raiders mobile app. And we appreciate you listening. Hope everybody had a good weekend, man. That snowstorm in the Midwest and back east was real. I got buddies of mine who were here all weekend, and they are delayed or canceled. So don't be surprised today in Vegas if you find out a lot of people are calling down to the front desk looking to get a late checkout or a room extended a couple of days. It's crazy to travel now, Clay, because back in the olden days, your flight would get delayed. It wouldn't be canceled. They'd delay it, and then you'd get on the next flight. Now what they do, it's 2026. We got rockets. Elon's sending rockets into space, and they land perfectly and come down. But in 2026, they're canceling your flights and saying, no, we can only get you rebooked on Wednesday. Is that supposed to happen? If that happened in 1956, I'd be like, okay, it's 1950s. Not a lot of planes in the air.
Right.
We can't get people home. When they come to Vegas, it's our responsibility to get them home after they spend their money here.
It's the way you totally relied on that kind of transportation. You didn't have to think of a plan B or a plan C. Now, if you don't, you're in for it. You're in for a grave mistake when you go and travel because weather is now a concern. And it's not just the winter weather. Even the summer weather is a concern now.
It's a pain in the ass to fly, man. It's overpriced. It's a pain in the ass. And when they canceled flights, you go to an airport now, and we're Vegas. We need you here. We need you here. We appreciate you coming here. What a weekend I had. Oh, my God, it's crazy out here. Let me just say this as we go, because we got a lot to cover today. Today's a very busy show. I left it open for the phones. Why would I do that? Because it's only a 2-hour show. I could do it blindfolded. I could do it blindfolded without a commercial. But we got a lot of partners, 19 of them. We got to get our partners in here, and we got to get everybody satisfied. But today's the day you want to start dialing now because it's getting dicey. Raiders are in a spot where they got to get a coach. They got to get a coach. And the waiting game is right here on Monday. And that's the focus of the monologue brought to you by Golden Entertainment. Great job by the PTs that I went into on Saturday ahead of Sunday because they were telling me, and this is a great one, the SG bar by my house. And there is a great Sierra Gold that I love so much that I always talk about. I was talking to the bartender. Yes, the gentleman there was telling me, we are going to be packed on Sunday because people want to watch football games. So PT is really satisfying with all their bar specials, food specials, gaming specials, drink specials. They fuel the monologue as we get rolling here. All right, the Raiders got a big decision to make, and they could make that decision today. I don't know when they're going to make the decision, nor does anybody else. Not the housewives that are out there reporting. They're hearing this. We're in some real Captain Obvious stuff right now, where a lot of people are just reading off of Adam Schefter's post, talking about, well, the Raiders are down to these three, or the Raiders are going to interview this person. We all know that. We all know that. What I've been telling you for a month is we don't know anything because Tom Brady and John Spytek don't talk to anybody. They don't talk to our insiders. Yes, they don't talk to anybody. And they're not going to tell our insiders or me who's in the building or anybody else I'm leaning towards blank. They're not doing that. They're in charge of this search. They haven't told anybody anywhere what they're going to do because they're not sure yet what they're going to do. I think they have the choices whittled down into their top 2 or 3, but there's a lot going on. Davis Webb today, the former backup quarterback, who someone told me who's pretty in the know in Denver, that this guy could still be a backup quarterback in the league. At 30 years old, he could be a backup for Josh Allen. He could be a backup anywhere in the league. He could still play, but he's such a freak when it comes to knowing coaching and wanting to coach. And he's such a savant that a lot of teams are looking at him saying, man, if we don't hire him now, we will lose him and never get him again. Like he's the type of hire that you can hire Davis Webb if you get it right. And how do you get it right? You need good players. If you don't have good players, you're not going to get it right. But if you get it right with him, he could have a run, someone told me, like Sean Payton, 9 years with one team. So if the Raiders don't get him in the cycle and he gets hired, you might never see him again. That's why he's such an important potential candidate here. And we all know that. Secondly, when it comes to Davis Webb, he's doing a Zoom, from what I understand, from Denver, then coming to Vegas. He's not going to Buffalo and then flying to Vegas. You couldn't do that today. You can't do that today. Even if you're flying private, it's hard to get clearance to do that today. So he's coming to Vegas. And it gets down to that old rule that we've always talked about, that you've always heard. Don't let him leave the building if you want him. If it was Al Davis and he wanted you, remember Steve Sarkisian left the building and Al kept Lane Kiffin in the building. And that hire didn't work out, but the theory behind it did. He saw the guy that impressed him. He didn't let him leave. He hired him. And things like that could happen pretty quickly. So am I saying that Davis Webb is going to get the job tonight? No, but there's a chance. You better believe it. If he blows him away in this meeting in Vegas in front of Tom Brady and Mark Davis and John Spytek and the individuals in that meeting, he could get the job. And if he gets the job, I'm fine with it. I am fine with it. I've been leaning towards Kubiak the whole time. I think Kubiak's the guy. And he's not flamboyant, and he's probably not going to blow away anybody in an interview from what I've heard about his persona. But you saw the way he called that game in Seattle and some of the decisions that were made from an offensive perspective. And most Raider Nation thinks that Clint Kubiak probably could be the right call, but you got to wait till after the Super Bowl. And that's a risk. And I've been talking about that here for a couple of weeks, and I think we've owned that topic as good as anybody. Risk, reward. And I framed all the different risks and rewards that you can have in life. If you want to wait for something, you want to wait for your dream sweetheart, you better make sure they don't leave you at the altar, right? There is a term, leaving him at the altar. Do you know what that means? You're engaged to be married. It's your wedding day. Your parents are in the first pew, and she don't show. She don't show. And you know what? It's happened many, many, many times in real life on wedding days. And the groom's sitting there going, it's not the Hangover where the groom doesn't show up because he's hammered in Vegas and he misses his wedding. No, no, no. It's the gal, the bride, talking to her girlfriends and her mom, and they're saying, no, 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 you're good. You're good. We got you covered. You're not going to church. We're not going to get married today. Well, that's what's happening here. Kubiak might be perfect. It could be a done deal. They might have said wink, wink. They might have sat around with him, and Kubiak loves the Raiders. Tom likes Kubiak. He's called a lot of his games, and it's going to happen. We don't know that. We don't know what the relationship with Brady and Kubiak is. And Brady's very buttoned up, but now Brady's done broadcasting for Fox. Fox does not have the Super Bowl. Tom Brady is completely already been invested in this process. Now he's completely doesn't have a schedule conflict, even though he's got a lot going on. So if it's Kubiak, you got to have to wait. We're going to have to wait. We're not going to have a press conference show this week, and it won't be next week because it'll be the Super Bowl, and he's coaching in the Super Bowl. And we're going to have a long wait. But if you get the guy you want, you get the guy you want. And then you got LaFleur with the Rams, who I like his tree and where he came from, so you could go get him if you want him, if you believe in the McVay tree and where he's been in the past. Or you could look around at another a big name today, Joe Brady. And Joe Brady, who worked with Josh Burrow at LSU and worked with Josh Allen. I talked to someone in Buffalo about this earlier today who's in the news. And, you know, when you get into this topic on what is Joe Brady, what could he end up doing? Is he the right guy at the right time? And I was kind of sniffing around on that topic today because that's what I like to do. And someone in the NFL said, similar to the OC from Jacksonville. Okay, young savant, brilliant, really sharp pick, high energy guy, bubble screens, loves them, great for tight ends, great relationship with Josh Allen, call plays, very emotional. All right, that could be the guy. Joe Brady could be the guy too. So we're down to about 3 or 4 guys. Why aren't we not talking about Sean McDermott today, who's still available, Clay? Sean McDermott's available? All of a sudden, you bring in a culture warrior changer. You get Sean McDermott, then you're just looking for an OC. Now you're just looking for an OC, and you can take one of these OCs, but you got fans freaking out. If we got a good OC, we're going to lose them in 2 years. Who cares? We'll get another OC.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
I think Mendoza will be able to handle an OC leaving and getting another one if he's good. But I think I'm leaning towards the Raiders, Clay, getting an offensive young play caller. You got Brady, Webb, and Kubiak. All of them check the boxes. I think we're good with all of them. I can't imagine you having criticisms with these guys. What could you be criticizing them? You don't know them. How could you be criticizing a guy on radio or on the internet or on your podcast if you don't even know the guys? So I'm good with all 3 of those guys, either way.
Yeah, I am too. Listen, at least if you have an offensive philosophy at head coach, you know there will be a structure in place to protect your most prized asset, and that's Fernando Mendoza, should you pick him number 1.
There's a lot of people out there. This changed in the birth of social media, but even more so right now. Everybody wants to be right, and they all want to do na when they're wrong. Like I see Mia Kimes, she's getting killed today verbally. A woman is getting beat up by trolls who live in their basement, and they're DMing her that you thought it was a bad idea to get rid of Geno Smith for Sam Darnold. No, she just gave an opinion. It was a pretty solid opinion. Most people thought Sam Darnold and Geno Smith were the same guy, like everybody did. Do you know many people who are sitting around saying Sam Darnold is better than Geno Smith? I don't know many. I don't know many people who were saying Geno Smith's better than Sam Darnold. It was kind of like pick one guy. Sam Darnold's now in the Super Bowl. It was a good pick to get Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold came to the Raiders wouldn't have made the playoffs this year. Let me repeat. If Sam Darnold came to the Raiders this year, he would have played better than Geno. No debate. Geno played terribly. But the Raiders wouldn't have won enough games to go to the playoffs. They wouldn't have. So Sam Darnold wouldn't even have been in the playoffs, let alone going to the Super Bowl. So things happen. There are consequences when you hire a coach who wants to bring in a quarterback if the quarterback doesn't play well. Right? Most of these candidates here, I think what's fascinating to me is that most of these candidates here, this is great stuff. If you're going to agree to the terms here to come to be the Raiders head coach, you better agree on Mendoza. Here's my point. If we get some shenanigans going on and I'm just an employee and I sit back, I actually do. I wait for the knowledge. I wait for the information. I got a 4-decade track record of that. Could you imagine agreeing to come here and coach Mendoza, and then all of a sudden they trade 4 picks and don't take Mendoza, and you're the coach sitting there going, whoa, wait a second. No, do you understand that's going on? You're trying to get a coach to tie to the quarterback here. But we got to act real quiet like we're not going to have Mendoza. then why the hell are we why are we interviewing Davis Webb if we don't have Mendoza completely locked up? You know, and so there's a lot happening here, a lot going on. And I'm not a patient guy. I yell at the microwave, hurry up, hurry up. I'm not patient. That's how I run my show. It's fast. You see this monologue? You don't listen to another monologue like this in radio. You don't. It's fast, man. It's not like a 10-minute warm-up. Where'd you go to dinner last night? We got work to do. We go fast. And it's not a comedy show. But now we're at a point where we're guessing. We're all guessing. We all know we're guessing because Tom Brady wants everybody to guess. He took this job as an owner. He's not a consultant. He's not a coach. He's an owner. He's invested in this team. He wants to get it right. And so does Mark Davis. And obviously, John Spytek has to get it right, coming off last year. And the coach and what happened with the coach getting fired and a lot of the draft picks didn't play. Well, oh, boy, we got to get some guys in here who can play. So that's what's going on today. Again, for me, it would be Kubiak A, maybe Webb A1, and Joe Brady B. But if Brady got the job, I'd be fine with that. I mean, good. He's going to be an offensive guy, going to time to the quarterback. Rah, rah, rah. Let's go, Raider Nation. Let's get behind the coach. But when you look at a lot of these other guys, there's not a lot of flash left. Everybody's turning down the Cleveland Browns. Everybody's like, no, we're good. Arizona, I don't know who wants to coach Arizona. I think that fit. If the Raiders don't want Sean McDermott has got a big decision to make because unlike Tomlin's great for TV. McDermott is not in regards to going to the big networks and sitting at the desk. It doesn't seem like that's going to be his fit year one. Tomlin could do it blindfolded. So if you're Sean McDermott, you might take the Arizona job. You might just say the Arizona job is the one I can get. I could do the same thing I did with the Bills. I could get to Arizona, blow it up, build it in my likeliness, do it. And then Van Joseph, who has just got eliminated, the defensive coordinator of Denver's hot. He's a good coach. I mean, again, I don't think he's the fit for the Raiders perfectly. He could be if all these other guys, for whatever reason, take other jobs because he's a guy who's a really good coach. But I'm leaning towards the offensive side. I'm leaning on the offensive side. And we're either going to have to wait till after the Super Bowl or we're going to leave Kubiak. We're going to leave Kubiak behind, and we're going to get one of these guys today and tomorrow. Does that sound right? Clay, does that sound about right? Am I missing anything?
I think a lot of work is going to get done in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be a long, elongated process. I think everyone's going to have to fall in line. And it seems as though like the keystones in this, what the Raiders are going to do, as well as what the Bills are going to do. Who are they choosing and when?
Yeah, my son's in the chat, and he says the chat wants Kubiak. Well, the bricklayers in the chat, y'all matter. Y'all there. You're all saying in the chat, you want Kubiak. Well, Kubiak's coaching in the Super Bowl, and he ain't agreeing to terms with the Raiders till after the Super Bowl. But we all know that he might already want the job or not. We don't know. But if he wants the job and Brady is confident he'll take the job and not leave him at the altar, then everything's cool. Then everything's all right. Then you don't have to panic. You don't have to go crazy. If I was 5 years into this job, I'd be doing a different show today. I'd be freaking out. I've done this long enough now that I'm pretty confident whoever they get is going to be something different and unique. It's going to be young without a lot of experience. And we all need to get behind that in the Raider Nation. We all need to get behind that. Because last year we didn't want Lincomb. We didn't want Mike Vrabel or couldn't get Mike Vrabel. How would Mike Vrabel have been if we got Mike Vrabel last year? Pretty good, huh? I bet you the Raiders make the playoffs with Mike Vrabel. Not the Super Bowl, but the playoffs. I mean, come on. We know the New England roster. They got some good players. They got a better defense than the Raiders. Their offense is good. They don't have Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. But if the Raiders had Mike Vrabel, could they have been in the playoffs? Maybe. Yeah, I think they could have been better. But the Raiders are playing a really, really, really tough division in the AFC West. Okay, that leads me to Mike McDaniel. How stupid, and I'm not talking about you, this is generalization. How stupid did you have to be to think that Mike McDaniel could be the head coach of the Raiders? Oh my God, on a scale of 1 to 10 with football knowledge, you had -1. Mike McDaniel in Vegas? This guy can't put a sentence together. He can't go up to a microphone and talk. You think he's going to be the head coach of the Raiders? Are you nuts? The guy who got fired by the Dolphins? It was just like, yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I don't know, dude. I'm going to drive around the elbow room in my car. Yeah, dude. You think he was going to be the coach of the Raiders? Have you lost your mind? I had people saying, what about if he had, JT's not talking about McDaniel. He must know something. Yeah, I knew that he would officially not get hired by the Raiders. He wouldn't be a Raider under any circumstance. Maybe an OC. Maybe. But he wasn't going to be the head coach, and people believe he could be the head coach. Are you kidding me? Mike McDaniel? Holy crap. Did anybody watch his act last year? You want to bring him to Vegas? You think we got problems potentially with players in Vegas, and you want to bring Mike McDaniel into Vegas? No, that was stupid. Anybody who was going, I didn't spend a second on it. I didn't spend a second, not a minute or an hour. Give me some type of trophy for that. That's something I didn't waste your time with. Imagine me doing a show. Let's get Mike McDaniel phone calls going. 702-365-9200. Give me a break. Stop. Now, could he do well with the Chargers? Sure, anybody could do well with the Chargers. He's going to try to be eccentric and different with Justin Herbert. He's going to call plays. But then why the hell do you need Jim Harbaugh? Jim Harbaugh's not calling plays. So we're at a point now where Jim Harbaugh is just going to be what? Jim Harbaugh is going to be patrolling the sideline and listening to Mike McDaniel say, yo, dude, in the headset and call the plays. And Jim Harbaugh is just going to do what? Go over to special teams and fire up the special teams? So now you've kind of taken a little bit out of Harbaugh. And remember, Harbaugh wants to run the ball. He wants to run the ball aggressively. Mike McDaniel doesn't. He wants to throw it on every down. So let's just get that out of the way. Mike McDaniel's gone with the Chargers. I think he's a clown show as a head coach candidate. He wasn't going to be the head coach here. If anybody told you that, well, they wanted a click and they got a click. I don't need the clicks. I'm pretty good on that. So that topic is gone either way. And then I think our phone topic for today, because I used to not have to give out phone topics now, but I guess I have to. I'm just talking football. Like I want football fans to call in with their opinions, not just mine. I'm 20 minutes into this thing on a Monday. But I will tell you, I want to know how happy you were that the Broncos lost. I was in a really nice, let's give them a plug. I was at Flanker at Mandalay Bay where we've done some events before. What a great setup. I had friends in town. We hung out with Sean Porter, the boxer, and the boxing analyst, the retired boxer. Spent that first game with him. And there were a lot of Patriot fans in the bar. Patriot fans are everywhere. But it was great to see Sean Payton pass up a field goal to go up 10-0. To go for it on fourth down, and he lost the AFC Championship game. So Sean Payton lost the AFC Championship game. I put out a video on X at JT the Brick. Now Sean could go hang out with Kenny Chesney, toes in the sand, drinking their Coronas, kicking back. He can go to concerts with Kenny Chesney. He's out because he was stupid enough with a backup quarterback not to take the points. And to make matters worse, he's a protege of Bill Parcells, who always took the points. Bill Parcells won an NFC Championship game in San Francisco, 15-13. 15-13 on the 5 field goals because he just had to win. Any way you can win, you're going to win the game. And Sean, also, I find this refreshing. This is fact, not fiction. No one told Sean the weather. Nobody told Sean the weather there. And people were like, wait a second. Like, weather's hard in Denver. You know that Denver has the most sunny days of any city in America? That's a great bar trivia. What city has the most sun? 365. It's Denver. But the weather can change dramatically in Denver. You can go from, it was sunny yesterday, and then all of a sudden it started snowing, then it started blowing sideways, and then it started dumping. Sean didn't know that. No one in the booth told him, hey, Sean, there's weather coming in. There's weather about 8 miles outside the stadium. It's coming. We're not going to be able to see you from the press box in about 10 minutes. And Sean McVay is doing that. So here's Sean McVay after the game as Denver's very critical of his decision-making.
Well, we ended up in a 6-1, playing like a heavy 6-1. There was a clock stoppage. So we had a nickel run called. And then I don't know if there was a timeout or they called one. but it's a slipper naked that we've run pretty well. They played a 6-1 front with a kind of a 2 deep shell, so the run look was going to be, hindsight, the initial sub run thought was a better decision.
Okay, so he got the play wrong. That's happened before, but it's not about the play. It's about the theory behind the play. So usually on 4th and 1, even if it's a little bit longer than 1, you can still quarterback sneak. Jarrett Stidham's a big guy. He's tall, he's strong, he's big. If you quarterback sneak behind him, you're probably going to get it. He's a big guy. He's 6'4". You can push the pile with him. Or you can do something, but they didn't do that. And as soon as they ran the play blew up. Right? What happened to the Denver offensive line on that play? It was like a jailbreak. And they're on top of Stidham, and he throws the ball away, almost got intercepted. It was awful, right? And if they would have kicked the 3, they would have went up 10-0. I think they would have won the game 10-7. They would have won the game 10-7. Now, one of the things about Josh McDaniels, the former Raider coach that was run out of town here, and he should have been fired. It didn't work. He didn't have the team where it needed to be. He wasn't a good head coach. He's a brilliant coordinator. Once he had the lead, he knew that they were just going to run the ball and punt because they knew that Stidham couldn't win that game. And that was smart. Mike Vrabel must have told Josh McDaniels, Josh, 3rd and 11, just run it into the pile. We'll punt. And they got out of Dodge with the win, so we got to deal with the Patriots for 2 weeks. We got to deal with the mass blanks. We got to deal with Sully from Boston. I mean, how many? This will be my 30th radio row minus COVID. So I think it's my 29th radio row I'm doing. And most of them are Patriots. Like you go to Radio Row and there's like 10 radio stations from Boston. Now there's only 3 radio stations and there's 6 podcasts. Podcast row instead of Radio Row. And Boston's all there. They're looking for hotel rooms. They're ready to come. I'll get to the Seahawks on the other side. Devontae Adams, who quit on the Raiders. He didn't leave the Raiders. He quit. He quit on the Raiders midseason. He quit. The definition of a guy who quit on this team. Thousands of players have played for the Raiders, not hundreds, thousands. He's one of the only few who quit. He's now 0-5 in the championship game, 0-5. And I think Devontae's a great player. I thought he played great in that game, but he comes up short again. That's the monologue brought to you by the 872 Laborers, led by Tommy White, building the city on time and on budget. Ben in Denver, start us off today. Ben, what's happening?
Hey, JT, what's going on? First of all, it's a great day in Denver. The blizzard's gone. There's blue skies, sunny days, and the Broncos are out. I mean, the Broncos are gone. I don't have to hear from neighbors, from people at work. Good riddance. And the Lambs are out. The Lambs are out. Devontae Adams, go to Cancun, hang out, do whatever. But I'm a little bit worried today with the coaching.
Yeah.
I'm hearing Davis Webb, which I don't know much about, to be honest, even though he's here in Denver. I don't know what tree he's coming from. I don't know if he's just been under Sean Payton, but I don't know much about him. Honestly, I don't want any Broncos guys, but...
Oh, stop. Stop with that. We don't want Broncos or Rams or Patriot guys. We want the best coach available. It's not about what team you were on beforehand. We want the best candidate available. If they coached on another team that you don't like, it shouldn't have anything to do with the decision. It should.
No, I get it. Yeah, I understand that. I'm being a little silly with it, but, living here in Denver, Jesus. But, most of my worries is I don't know much about him. Now, me personally, I'm waiting for Kubiak, and I like Shula from the Rams. Other than that, I think some of the other, McDermott, like you said, would be another guy that's highly qualified. If you bring some coordinators in, I think McDermott will be fine. But this David Webb thing is just kind of stressing me out a little bit, just to get your thoughts on it.
I gave you the thoughts in the monologue. Thanks for the call. He played quarterback. He was drafted in the 3rd round, 87th overall in the 2017 draft. He went to Texas Tech and Cal. And if you look at where he ended up playing, the Giants and the Jets, he was with the Bills, a backup from 19 to 21, and then the Giants again. Then as a coach, he's just been with the Broncos as a quarterback coach and an offensive pass game coordinator right now and a quarterback's coach. But he's super sharp. He's famous for one of the combines. He met with every defensive coach. So I heard that story that he asked to meet with every single defensive coach. They're like, what the hell's going on with this guy? That's how thorough he is. I heard the same thing about Joe Brady, how thorough he's been as a coach, coming up through his ladder, too. Kubiak grew up the son of a coach underneath his dad and John Elway. So he's pretty buttoned up. But the move to get Davis Webb is pretty simple. Is that he's so impressive, and we're not in the meetings. We're not in the meetings, but he is so impressive that he blows you away. Like Phillip Rivers supposedly had a really good meeting with the Bills. He went in there and they were like, wow, Phillip Rivers put together a really nice presentation. But, Phillip Rivers, it doesn't make sense right now. Davis Webb is going to be a head coach. He's going to be a head coach. And I've said this before. If you got a guy that eventually is going to be great, go get him. Very similar to John Gruden when he got hired here the first time, but he was a play caller in Philadelphia. But Al Davis saw something in John Gruden and interviewed him for the head coaching job. And then imagine what Gruden must have been like in that meeting. And he's explained it in depth at Barstool when Al Davis put him on the whiteboard and put him in every scenario you can. And if you've impressed Al Davis that much, Al Davis is like, we can't let this guy go. Well, I would assume that's going to happen tonight with Davis Webb. When he gets up on the whiteboard in front of Brady and Spytek and Mark Davis and everybody there, if he's so engaging and so cool and really controls the meeting, and he's really a guy who's outgoing, they might all look around and say, Davis, can you go into the lobby or go into this other room and sit there for an hour? And they could be drawing up a contract. They could say, this is the guy. We don't need to see anything else. And if that happened, who would have a problem with that? They'd be like, okay, Tom Brady thinks that Davis Webb is the guy to get. I'll be good with that. But it'll be a highly critical decision because he has no experience. But at least we got to feel good about the authority of saying, pull the trigger on this guy. We can't let him leave, if that's it. Antonio is in Modesto, California today. What's happening?
Hey, JT, man, what a fun day of watching football. I actually try to stay active, even though I watch about 6 hours of football, if not even more. I'm so ecstatic about the Broncos loss that with today's modern technology, I can go listen to the app and go listen to the Raider talk show or the Broncos talk show and hear them crying. And you know what? I think honestly, as trying to see the game through real lenses, they missed a great opportunity. It's unfortunate for them. Bo Nix getting hurt. If the weather's right, they go for that fourth down. Who knows? They might be in Santa Clara again, which they're not. But one of the takes I did take from this, what I thought was interesting is that everybody's questioning the fourth down call. They didn't go early in the game, but I guess when they spotted the field goal to tie the game up, I guess they were a yard short because you couldn't see the markers on the field. So I thought that was interesting. But for me, I think we were competitive against the Broncos. We're not that far away. I mean, even going in with no roster yet, we don't know what the roster is. But I'm ecstatic, and I love watching the Broncos lose. Thanks, JT.
Yeah, I think a lot of Raider Nation is happy about the Broncos losing, which is good by me. I said it today. The Raiders had a really bad season, and I put my neck out for Raider Nation as much as I can. So when I throw something, I don't do a lot of na radio like you suck, we don't, because when the Raiders are in last place, I can't do that. And I haven't been able to do that for a while. But I can tell you what I think. And what I think is the AFC West did not win the Super Bowl this year. The Raiders had a terrible season. Kansas City finally came back to earth with their injuries. They didn't make the playoffs. The Chargers scored 3 points in the playoffs. They were a train wreck. And Denver was really good, better than the Raiders by a lot this year, but they didn't win the Lombardi. I take a little bit of gratitude from that. I do. But the problem with me is we got to deal with the Patriots. And I'm from New York, and my roots in New York and the Patriots, it's hard. Dealing with Sully from Southie for the next 2 weeks is going to be tough. But I don't think they stand a chance in the Super Bowl. I think Seattle's going to blast them. I really do. I think Seattle's going to get to them, and that'll be good. And again, I have a problem with Seattle. When Pete Carroll was there, I had a lot of respect for them. I have a lot of respect for Seattle when Bobby Wagner played there. I got friends of mine who were Seahawks fans. They're not going to go past the Raiders in glory if they win the Super Bowl. Don't worry. But you got to feel good that Denver's out. We're taking your phone calls on the Raiders' next head coach as it's getting close, and a decision should be made here pretty quickly.
Wake up.
Wake up with the morning tailgate. Absolutely.
Oh, we're like, who is this goober? How's he going to talk to 70-some-odd grown men?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
In a locker room, 13 wins. William Cohen. We asked the same questions about Ben Johnson. And it's
Hydrate-worthy monologue, yes.
like,
Went to 31, Big D, 31.
but like, can they communicate?
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. This is JT from Las Vegas's premier cigar lounge, La Casa Cigars and Lounge. All right, so Adam Schefter, Bills have now completed their interview with Davis Webb. He will now interview for the Raiders. Cigar labels to choose from. Plus, they feature one of the largest whiskey, scotch, and bourbon selections anywhere in the valley with live local entertainment. I got to bring my machine to Hawaii and do the radio show from Hawaii. Check it out. Yes, Kubiak is no guarantee. You better believe he's no guarantee. No guarantee.
Discover they have so many restrictions.
Yeah, got to wait 2 more weeks for Kubiak. No one wants to wait that long.
Every client settlement gets our less fee guarantee.
Oh.
We take more in fees than our client gets. No restrictions apply. Who you hire matters. The Richard Harris Law Firm.
Don't touch the quarterback. That means take Mendoza, I'm assuming, right?
It's on Saturday, January 31st against the Seattle.
No, you think the Patriots, Shannon, are going to get trashed, but then the Patriots find a way to hang in these games, man, especially Super Bowl.
It's the party deck of Stadium Rickle Lane. Tickets start at just $39. Go to dgkticketexchange.com.
Yeah, I think Schefter's doing his job.
By Western Credit Union and Centennial Subaru.
Kubiak, all these insiders are doing is telling you what the flight travel is like for all these candidates.
The Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a
JT, if the Raiders offer Webb a job tonight, does it say okay, but give him a minute to check in on Buffalo? Sure. if he wants the Bills job, all he's got to do is call the Bills and say, I want the job.
The new or refinanced auto loan.
Well, we don't know what happened today, as it doesn't seem like the Bills offered him the job.
And what help from payment stress and more money in your pocket. So you spend financing and more time enjoying the drive.
Paola, I'm sure Brady talked to Kubiak in Seattle. You would hope. He just had a basic conversation with him about football.
Really sucks.
I don't think Brady was here offering him a Raider job. Obviously, there are rules, of course.
Job.
You.
Wait, what?
Truck you.
You don't have to curse.
Oh.
Dude, you should check out Truck U CDL training. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks, and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck U offers small classes with night and weekend times available. They will even help with payment programs. Check them out. Truck, the letter U, LV.com. Truck U. Big news, Las Vegas.
All right, we got Steve Weish tomorrow from NFL Network. 1:30 tomorrow, yeah.
Our new space means more technology, more service, and more solutions, all designed with you in mind. Plus, we're hiring. If you're ready to grow with a company...
The San Francisco Center Mall closed.
Proudly serving Las Vegas for 23 years and counting. Less than IT, your business
the San Francisco Center Mall was supposed to shut down Monday, but yesterday the mall was locked and had signs posted at the entrance being closed until further notice. Still not know what will replace the stores inside the massive 7-story center. Mayor Lurie says that his office is taking pictures from developers interested in
we offer freedom from payment stress
from
from your
housing
pocket.
to an
So you spend
entertainment
less time
venue.
worrying about financing and more time enjoying the drive. Check out the benefits of a One Nevada auto loan today at onenevada.org. Federally insured by NCUA, equal opportunity lender.
From birthdays to business meetings, or just because, Gray's Craze makes every moment delicious. Artful charcuterie boards, made fresh. Visit grayscraze.com. Celebrate everything. 702-605-6333. Great.
Coach going into Buffalo is going to be expected to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, right. That's why they shouldn't have fired McDermott, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Luxurious amenities, changing every
Yeah, I'm looking that up. Good point from you guys.
LasVegas.com. This is JT from Las Vegas's premier cigar lounge, La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. You're going to be blown away like I was when I stepped into their walk-in humidor. Over 500 cigar labels to choose from. Plus, they feature one of the largest whiskey, scotch, and bourbon selections anywhere in the valley with live local entertainment 7 nights a week. Great place to watch football games. Check it out at LaCasaCigars.com. It's the Stadium Series on Sports USA, and it's all hands on deck as the Boston Bruins and Tampa Bay Lightning take over Raymond James Stadium. The Bees with McAvoy and Pasternak are looking to plunder a win on enemy soil. But Kucherov, Point, and the Lightning are ready to defend the Bay. Fire the cannons. It's the Battle of the Atlantic, Tampa Bay and Boston. February 1st on your home for the Stanley Cup playoffs and the Stanley Cup, Sports USA. Sunday the 1st at 3 o'clock on 12:30, The Game.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
The Raiders, it looks like it could be Davis Webb, Joe Grady's there today, Brian Dable, like the same names in both places. Now, I would think that obviously Josh Allen's going to be more of a drawing card than the Raiders situation. But if you love Fernando Mendoza, then go take the Raiders job and spend the next decade with him. Like, that's certainly viable.
Adam Schefter on the McAfee Show, brought to you by La Casa Cigars over at Tivoli Village, where I had a stick there over the weekend. Beautiful crowd, beautiful service, tremendous views. Sitting outside having a cigar. Maybe my voice shouldn't be doing that on a Monday, but I had a good time. They serve everything that we promote here behind the bar, including Modelo, Woodson Bourbon Whiskey, Tito's, Remy Martin, everything we do. So we want to thank Mike over at La Casa. So Adam Schefter just reported, and that was from earlier on McAfee, but just recently that Davis Webb has finished his Zoom interview with the Buffalo Bills. He's coming to Vegas for the Raider interview. And if that's accurate and he's coming here, there's a chance he could get the job if they want him that badly. I don't know if they want him that badly. Neither do you. Neither does Adam Schefter. Neither does Jay Glazer. No one's going to know until after the meeting ends. If he gets a job offer, then we could all assume the Raiders wanted him. And that's their guy overall. Kubiak, I think, is a stronger candidate than most, just because he's been doing it a little bit longer. His tree's strong. You saw the game he called yesterday. I mean, if anybody watched the game and listened to Tom Brady talk about the play calling and the routes and everything he was able to do, getting the ball to Smith and Jigba where he was able to do it, establishing the run, good decisions. I'll talk more about the Rams next hour. I think Sean McVay got outcoached. He didn't handle the clock well on what should have been a challenge. He burned the timeout. He just ran out of time. And they decided to go for it on 4th down and not kick a field goal to cut it to 1. And if they did that, they could have won with a field goal. But sometimes you don't want to give the team the ball and lose that way. So he had some big, tough decisions. I mean, they were gutted after the game. Oh, my God. Devontae Adams couldn't speak in the locker room. Sean McVay was very emotional. And they should be. When you lose a game, you should be highly emotional because you want to win every game. Isaac is in Fresno, California today. Thanks for waiting, Isaac. Ahead.
Hey, JT, happy Mendoza Monday. I want to start that off, by the way.
Yes, I
Loving the monologue. Loving the monologue. I set my reminder for it every day, man. You
Appreciate
get fired up.
Thank you.
Things real quick. The game tonight, I mean, all right there. Especially when you're coming off, we just, speaking of Mendoza Monday, with Indiana. We saw Kurt Cignetti, who's a great game day manager, taking timeouts at the right time, both offense and defense, calms his players down. And I think whoever we get here at coach, that's the big thing. We're assuming Mendoza's going to be the number one. We're all pretty comfortable in saying that. Other than Mendoza's going to give Raiders fans about hope that we need going into here. But I think whoever we get, coach, I'm with you. We'll be asking my guy if we can get him. We're going to wait 2 weeks. Hey, let's be patient. We're really glad about the process we're going through this year.
It seems like it's organized, it's structured. We're not just, it's somebody already, just pick a name. And so I like that approach. But I think whoever we get as coach, we can't make light of the fact, just like we saw yesterday, Vrabel, I think, was an excellent game day manager, but in the light of being Kirk Nettie, the way he coaches, we also need somebody who's a great game day manager. We might like this guy, Webb.
Well, we're not going to know that. Isaac, we're not going to know that. If they end up taking Webb, we're going to have no idea. He hasn't even been an offensive coordinator, let alone a head coach. You're just going to have to trust that he's going to learn and do a good job and prepare the quarterback. That's it. He's going to be a motivating guy, high energy, outwork everybody, get the quarterback ready. He'll probably make some mistakes on game day with the clock, but he'll have help up in the booth to help him along the way. Same for Kubiak. Kubiak's a really good play caller, but if he goes down on the field as a head coach, no one will have an idea if he's a good game day clock manager because he's never done it.
Right. And just my last question for you would be, head coaching vacancies. You've been around this forever, JT.
Yeah.
The craziest offseason you've ever seen.
Yes. Thanks for the call. Yes. This is the craziest coaching carousel of all. And if you would have told me at the start of it that available would be Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin, and John Harbaugh, if you would have told me 2 months ago, hey, you're going to start off the coaching carousel with John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, and Sean McDermott, I probably would have been, I hope the Raiders get one of those guys. Well, Tomlin took himself out. He resigned. You have to trade for him. McDermott just got fired a week ago. And John Harbaugh got hired by the Giants. So it's been nuts. We're down to the fact that who's ever going to get signed by all these teams, including Cleveland, Arizona, going forward. The rest of the teams in Buffalo is risky. And a lot of people have been saying in our chat, and if you want to get in there, it's on YouTube, JT the Brick YT. You can get in this chat, which is really pumping. A lot of people are making good sense on Davis Webb. If he goes to Buffalo, the expectations are Super Bowl. That's it. The expectations are not playoffs. They're Super Bowl. And Clay, those are high expectations for a 30-year-old that he has to take the team in year one to the Super Bowl. I mean, Mike Vrabel was in Tennessee before he came, and he's going to the Super Bowl. For Webb, I don't think he's going to lead a team to the Super Bowl, and I like Buffalo's talent. I like Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's insurmountable to ask that kind of expectation into year one, and Buffalo doesn't have any time for a coach to find its legs, to develop itself. So you want a winner right away.
You do. And if Davis Webb or anybody comes to the Raiders, I believe Raider Nation, who's very passionate about winning, would give the coach time to kind of get there, to get comfortable with just being a head coach. But we can't give him time to be comfortable and going out there and getting a quarterback ready. Remember that one thing. No matter what happens with Davis Webb or Kubiak or LaFleur, these guys have to come in and nail the quarterback quickly. If it's Mendoza, who we all think it's going to be, they got to come in and have him ready to play quickly. Mike in Philly. What's going on in Philadelphia, Mike?
Nothing but difficult student look flying by. Listen, JG.
Good, Mike. Appreciate it.
We got blitzed here on the East Coast, man. I went to walk to the store this morning, and I had to have my neighbor help me. The store's only like half a block from me, so I went to get my coffee. My neighbor's like, I'm going to help you, man, because it snowed here yesterday. It was nice, and then it bleeded. It's one of those types of things. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Well, the one thing is, and I love the fact that you love that I call this show, even though we both grew up on different sides of the turnpike and all that kind of thing. If you guys want to do something when it comes to getting better, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I never tell anybody what to do. Nor would I tell Tom Brady, but you guys got to deal with NFL parallel coaches. That means that, because last year I think where you guys dropped the ball was because when you had too many college coaches in the kitchen, when you had Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll in the kitchen, and I feel like that was a major problem. And I'm not criticizing. It's constructive criticism as a sports fan. Yeah. I felt like looking from the outside, it's whatever. It just felt like it was a rookie move by Tom Brady and those guys. You guys bring in Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott coached here. He's a great coordinator here. And I feel like if you guys can you got to have NFL parallel coaches. Like if you hire an NFL coach, make sure there's an agreement that they hire an NFL coordinator, because when there's too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to the college stuff, it's
I got it. Appreciate the call, Mike. I got to run. Thank you. The Chip Kelly hire with Pete Carroll, in hindsight, we didn't know at the time. It looked potentially pretty good. Chip Kelly, highest paid pay caller of all time. Why do you believe that? You think because the Raiders overpaid? Well, now you could say that, but he clearly was worthy of that job as a former head coach and a play caller. Same with Pete Carroll. But they didn't. I don't want to say they didn't get along. I don't know if they got along or not. I think they got along, but it didn't work. It didn't work, and I hoped it would have worked. Josh McDaniels is a great offensive coordinator. That's one thing about Josh McDaniels. I don't defend him as a head coach. How could you? But it shuts up everybody now in Raider Nation, including me and anybody I know. Anybody who wants to criticize Josh McDaniels, you sound stupid. Criticize him as a head coach. Don't say anything about him anymore. He's a great, elite, all-time Super Bowl offensive coordinator. Not good, elite. Elite. Wasn't a good head coach. We know that. But you should be able to say, man, that guy can call plays and win games and handle a young quarterback and do all that. Just a shame he couldn't do it here. They wanted to go with Jimmy Garoppolo instead of a young quarterback. What could Josh McDaniels have done with Aiden O'Connell if he had a lot of trust with Aiden and Aiden played more? Don't know. We'll never know that now. We're going to continue to take your phone calls. They've been great today. We're looking for the next Raider head coach. Could it be Davis Webb getting the offer tonight after his interview? Could. Or is everybody waiting for Clint Kubiak as the right choice? I want to thank Alex in Orlando de Castroverde, the Brothers Win, brotherswin.com. Don't want you to get into an accident. Can you imagine if this was back east with all the snow? Can you imagine being a injury attorney with the weather back east? Well, no, you do it here because Vegas is nuts. It's crazy out here if you're driving. And if you get into an accident, you need the Castroverde Law Group. The Brothers Win, brotherswin.com.
Sign up today for a new plan.
Oh, I will be right there. Hold on a second. Yes, the hydrate button is great. Hydrate button
allows you to bet on the go for any iPhone, iPad, or Android device from anywhere in Nevada. Sign up today and you will never miss another bet. With the largest wagering menu, the mobile sports app features same-game parlays, early cash out, and live in-play wagering on all major sports. For more information, official rules, and to see participating sign-up locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Vegas Golden Knights are rolling through another epic season. And there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your nights on the ice. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. So it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not seltzer, it's Surfside, official partner of the Vegas Golden Knights. Sold in arena and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
When it's time for a new AC and heating unit, don't just call anyone. Call the boss. Maybe you have some plumbing projects around the house. Well, you need to call the boss. Boss Plumbing and HVAC is family-owned and operated, serving Southern Nevada since 2015. There are no surprise costs or hourly rates. Get a totally free estimate with upfront pricing. From AC repairs to leaky pipes, from water heater installations to tuning up your AC and heater. Don't just call anyone. Call the boss. Boss Plumbing and HVAC.com.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at De Castroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the De Castroverde brothers, and we have your back.
brotherswin.com. Australia's biggest sport hits Vegas. Rugby League Las Vegas, Saturday, February 28th at Allegiant Stadium. 3 games, Aussie vibes, 1 epic ticket. Plug in your seat now at nrl.com/Vegas. Rugby League Las Vegas. Let's go.
Gambler's bonus hits again. On October 15th, Robert hit 4 nines, clearing his Gambler's bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for almost $7,000. Robert hit big, and so can you with Gambler's bonus. It's why you play the game.
Patty Davidson here from BadMoneyHoney.com. Have you ever felt like the odd man out at a friend's house watching the game? After years in the sports betting industry, I can teach you the rules of different sporting events so you can now be part of that crowd of cheering fans with an understanding of the game. Plus, I can teach you how to place a bet on a game, which will completely change your perspective because you too can be a winner. Join me at betmoneyhoney.com. That's betmoneyhoney.com.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the De Casta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Mike Dixon will punt. Xavier Smith, the deep man for the Rams. And this again, another rainmaker, high spiral. Smith falls down. Smith, he got trying to call fair catch. Falls down and the ball hits him. The Seahawks recover. And they are inside the 20-yard line on the Hawks on offense. The first mistake by the Rams tonight and the first turnover of the game. Seattle has the ball. 1st and 10.
Seahawks radio, that was the game. The muff punt for the Rams. So unfortunate when you muff a punt and then they score right after that, and that's the difference in the game. I think about what Devontae Adams and Puka and Matthew Stafford were going through when a special teams mistakes cost you a trip to the Super Bowl. Wow. Happens all the time. In NFL history, special teams, a third of the game, you make one big mistake in a game that's going to be that tight and that close could cost you the game, and it did for the Rams. There's a lot of criticism going on also with Sean McVay today. And he's a great coach. Everybody in Raider Nation would take Sean McVay tonight if they could get him. And he's not perfect. It's hard to be a head coach. It's hard. You get a lot of criticism when you lose. Lester in the East Bay. Thanks for waiting, Lester. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking the call, JT. These coaches not kicking field goals early in games and getting those points it's critical. And I don't understand what they're doing. I get it. The analytics may be coming in play, but man, try to kick those field goals early and at least give your kicker a shot to get those 3 points. If he's missing field goals early, that's one thing. But you got to get those points early in games. But regarding the Raiders coaching search, I mean, Tom Brady has first-hand account. He's been calling games with Clint Kubiak right now. Kubiak's been in his bag, during the playoffs. I think he should be the top choice for the Raiders. It's pretty obvious based on his background, his resume, his coaching background, and where he's from, and his experience as offensive coordinator. But if they go Davis Webb ahead of I hope the best. But man, that means that he just doesn't have the experience. And maybe I just don't understand if they would pick Davis Webb ahead of Clint Kubiak or LaFleur or McDermott and Brady because he just doesn't have the experience.
Well, what happens if Kubiak's not interested, or he's interested but he wants to stay? They haven't even played the Super Bowl yet. There's a lot's going to change mentally for Kubiak unless he's a diehard. I want the Raider job under every circumstance. I want the Raider job. You and I don't know that, and Brady doesn't know that, and we don't know if Mike McDonald's going to let him go, or ownership's going to say, "Man, we want you for another year. We're going to bump you up $2 million, and next year there's going to be 6 other jobs. Wait, give us one more year." That's the risk here.
Yeah, they got to go full press for Kubiak or the guys from the Rams, Floor, Steelhouse combination there. But obviously, if those guys don't want to be the coach of the Raiders, they got to look in other directions. Obviously, Joe Brady, experienced Davis. But I don't like it when the Raiders settle. I don't want them settled. I want the main guy.
Yeah, well, listen, you nailed it. You nailed it. You wouldn't think that the Raiders would have to settle on a coach. I don't think they'll have to, but it's tricky. All we've been telling you for 2 weeks is this is going to be tricky. We were right. We don't have a coach today. It's tricky. It's not because no one wants the job. I think a lot of guys want the job. The guy who wants the job maybe the most is still coaching. CJ in Beaumont, California. Go ahead, CJ.
JT, man, I love it. I love your show. Thank you for representing Raider Nation, bro, as many years as you have.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you right now, in regards to the coaching search, I already know that the brass are not grabbing anybody that's not all in on that first-round pick, being Mendoza.
Right.
If they're not in on that, then we're wasting our time. And there's some things that you brought up and that have not been brought up since. We're concentrating on head coach. It could be the young Davis Webb. He could grow with that quarterback. We can put some pieces around him to help support him as far as, he needs to be able to choose his own OC and DC, obviously. But it's a situation where they can grow together. Now, the other thing that I need your thoughts on is why I'm not hearing as much as what I need to hear about free agency and the money that we have to spend.
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about we need to go out and grab two big uglies,
Since we are
big road graders on the O-line, and two nasties on the D-line, a D tackle and another defensive end?
Because I appreciate it. We're up against it because we know they're getting two offensive linemen. Why am I going to spend time talking about the obvious stuff? They're going to get it. We're trying to hire a coach, and we just got through I think, getting Mendoza because he won the national championship game. I'm not going to sit here while the Super Bowl's 13 days away, and talk about Raider defensive tackle prospects. That's not good radio. I'm thinking about it, but it doesn't make the cut on this radio show today. Hour number 2 coming up.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner style.
See, we don't want to see Raider fans argue over the coach because we don't know who the coach is going to be. So don't argue now. Now's not the time to argue.
Hits Vegas. Saturday, February 28th at Legion Stadium. Saucy Vibes, one epic ticket. Plug in your seat now at nrl.com/Vegas. Rugby League Las Vegas. Let's go.
This winter, earn cool cash for betting sports on the William Hill mobile app. With the William Hill Cash Rewards program, you can earn up to $500 in cash. You'll earn winter rewards points for mobile wagers made January.
Sam Munson coming up next.
You can earn even more winter rewards points for teasers, parlays,
You
and
remind my son that because I see him in the chat.
Hill mobile app today and opt in to enroll in winter rewards. To see participating locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
For 60 years, Zippy's has been serving Hawaii's favorite foods. And now you can get a taste of aloha without traveling 2,600 miles across the Pacific Ocean. One of Zippy's favorites is the spaghetti meat sauce and garlic bread, now only $10.99 at the takeout counter. Zippy's meat sauce is thick and hearty, with its signature slightly sweet, savory flavor loved across Hawaii. And the garlic bread is grilled to perfection. Zippy's, home of Hawaii comfort food. Now with 3 locations, Arroyo Crossing, Wallaby Way, and Southeastern in Henderson.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at the Castro Verde.
Mendoza. Look at Bo Nick's development for those 2 years. Yeah. That's Davis Webb's strong suit, is getting Bo Nix up and ready to play. And remember, Davis Webb worked for Sean Payton. As much as we're giving Sean Payton heat today, he's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach, so you get a chance to get a guy who can really pick apart what's happening there.
But always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Your afternoon Raiders fix with your boy Q on Unnecessary Roughness from 2 to 5 on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM KRLB Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
You know, obviously it means a lot to me being a part of Silver and Black alone. You know, the history, said it a million times. I feel like I was meant to be a Raider. I love being here.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's amazing, opportunity, great community here, and, great fan base. And so expecting a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of great times.
It's going to be all about competition. I mean, there's going to be no easy games, Arnie. And now, here's JT the Brick.
Yes, we're ready to roll. It's another hour here on the flagship of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio as we get going here, along with Clay Baker, coming off the AFC and the NFC championship game. If you got a strong opinion on the coaching carousel, we want to hear from you. Davis Webb already did a virtual interview, a Zoom interview today with Buffalo. Reports are coming to Vegas to sit down with the Raiders. Could that be enough? Could that be it for the Raiders to go and hire him? I don't know. I love saying I don't know when I don't know, because I got strong opinions as a sports talk host. Really strong opinions on everything I say. But I'd be pretty nuts to say I know what the Raiders are doing when I don't know Tom Brady and you don't. And a lot of these guys who were getting interviewed looked up to Tom Brady at one stage in his life for all the great things he was able to do. So with all that being said, we don't know. We're not guessing. We don't know. But we have ideas of who we like more than others. So we'll get your opinion on that as we get rolling here. Sam Munson about to join us in a moment here, and we'll get him up here on the radio and talk to him, and then we'll go through what the Super Bowl preview will look like as we're heading towards Radio Row in San Francisco. I'm going to be there a week from tomorrow. I get in on Tuesday. I think Q will be there Monday. I'm going to knock out 4 days there and have a lot of fun up in San Francisco for the first time in quite some time. The first time in quite some time in the Bay Area, man. It's been a long time since I've been able to go up to the Bay Area and do that, and I'm excited. I haven't been there in a while. I did see today, and I thought this was really interesting today, a buddy told me that the big mall closed in the heart of San Francisco City. Closed. Done. Shut down a week early. That was pretty surprising. You don't want to hear about a mall closing and all those stores and jobs going down. What will San Francisco look like? I don't know. I have no idea what San Francisco is going to look like. I hope it's safe and clean. When I lived there, it was safe and clean most of the time, and it's going to be fun to see. So we're good. We're going to wait on Sam Munson until he frees up, and when he frees up, we'll give you an opportunity to call in here and get going. We got some voicemail on him. He's usually pretty busy, but he'll come back to us on that. 702-365-9200 is the number, and I'm not going to love this Super Bowl because the Patriots are in it. Here we go again with the Patriots. Didn't it feel like for 20 years we dealt with the Patriots either in the Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl, losing the Super Bowl, and here we go again. We're right back at it. And for Seattle, they seem to be the best team out there. I think Seattle is the right side in the play here, but we got a week or two to talk about the Super Bowl. I'm not going to go too early on that. We're still waiting on the Raider coach. If you think there is a reason that I would say, what's the difference between Davis Webb and Clint Kubiak? Clint Kubiak's been doing it longer, but Davis Webb played. He was a quarterback in the league. He played. And does that help? Yeah, it seems like he worked really well with the quarterbacks he worked with. Why did Buffalo not hire him today? I don't know. Buffalo might be hiring Brian Daboll because he works best with Josh Allen. So your new opinions on this, your opinion should be evolving. After we go through each round of the playoffs, did it evolve yesterday, seeing Clint Kubiak call the plays? 702-365-9200. Here's Derek out in Philadelphia. Hour number 2 begins. Go ahead.
JT, thanks for taking the call. Yep. I was rooting for the Pats. Number 1, I hate the Broncos, but number 2, I like Mike Vrabel. I'm an Ohio State guy, so you got to like Mike Vrabel. You know, there's nothing to dislike about him, but I will root for Seattle in the Super Bowl. But too funny because I was on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, did Sean Payton not know the weather forecast? How does somebody like that not know this storm is coming through? You brought up the point, the weather changes, but how do you not know that and take those points? Even Romo during the broadcast was saying, take the points.
And you know what happened? I think he thought he could get the yard. I really do. I think the only reason he did it is he's an offensive play calling coach. He calls the plays. They thought they had an advantage with Stidham on a play on 4th down that they would get. But aren't you amazed on how quickly that play was blown up? Whatever play they were running there, how it blew up so badly, and Stidham almost got sacked immediately. Whatever play they were thinking of running, they didn't execute it well.
No, he talked about it in the post-game press conference about the defense that the Patriots running, but it was just the whole weather just changed on a dime. It was crazy. And people are clamoring to not have these games outdoors. Nonsense. That's what the teams wanted. We should be playing up. I don't care if it's snowing. Do you?
Yeah, I would. Look, I think snow in a playoffs game is great. I think you want a nice controlled environment in the Super Bowl. I don't think you want the Super Bowl being screwed up by weather. That's why they play them in domes or in warm weather, because they work so hard to get to the Super Bowl that you don't want to see the weather change the outcome of a game. But I have no problem with it deep in the playoffs. It's a lot of fun.
Do you remember when the Giants hosted a game? Well, the Giants hosted a Super Bowl one year. Man, I was praying for snow. I know it didn't happen, but that would have been a very interesting situation to have the NFL deal with snow on the Super Bowl when it was held.
That was when Peyton Manning lost to the Seahawks. Thanks for the call. I was there for that one. That was the blowout. That was a blowout when the Seahawks won. That's when Pete Carroll won a Super Bowl. That opens up a line for you. We should never have an open line during football season in the playoffs. It's embarrassing, not to me, I'm fine. I'll talk forever. It's embarrassing to you if you don't feel that you could have an opinion on a flagship NFL station. We got the playoffs. We do not have to talk Raiders. We can talk Rams. We can talk why the Rams lost, why the Seahawks won. I'm looking for football fans to talk football, not everybody to talk about a mythical Raider coach who we don't know who's going to be. We have time to do that days from now. We don't know the Raider coach. We know the Super Bowl. So pivot and get going, 702-365-9200. So we played you the muff punt and how that played out in the game, which was brutal. Then Cooper Kupp got going. And this Cooper Kupp touchdown, I thought was really critical in this game because everyone was like, where's Cooper Kupp? You know, it's always about Smith and Jigba. Would Kupp play a role in this game to get to the Super Bowl?
A 3rd down and 3 at the Rams 13. Out of the shotgun, here comes the 4-man Rams rush. Sam steps up, throws back inside. Kupp, make the catch, touchdown! Seahawks, the former Ram, Super Bowl MVP. Now the Seahawks, and he has another big catch, 13 yards and a touchdown. This is a guy who's used to making big plays at the biggest moments, and there's none bigger than tonight. The NFC Championship. Seahawks now lead again by 10.
That's an incredible play because it was the difference in the game. Everything was going to be the difference in the game. And the difference in the game was that catch by Cooper Kupp. Tremendous catch overall. Tremendous catch overall, and the way he was able to kind of just silky bounce around and get in the end zone, turn around, ball right on him. Great play there. Tremendous play. And Cooper Kupp, sometimes you sign a player and you got a player on your team and you're like, okay, he's not doing well. We're not using him enough. Then he catches a play in the NFC Championship game. Paid for everything. Paid for everything you did. Whatever you paid him a lot of money, Cooper Kupp, to go up there. It's all paid off. You got a trip to the Super Bowl with him. Unbelievable. Yes, Mike McDaniels signed with the Chargers today. Hallelujah. Wanted him nowhere near the Raiders. Nowhere near the Raiders. Nowhere near it, other than when he plays here at Allegiant Stadium once a year. Good riddance. There was never a chance he was going to be the head coach of the Raiders. Raider Greg is in beautiful Sacramento, California.
JT, thank you for taking my call. Appreciate everything that you do.
Thanks.
When I get straight to it, I was super pleased. Anytime you can see the Donkeys lose, I was happy about that. Super happy about Devontae. Man, because anybody that quits on the Raiders is a quitter in my book. So I'm happy. Looking at Davis, Webb, and Cliff Kubiak, I'm just super excited. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave it to the brains of the Raider front. I think that they're doing it the right way. This is kind of the first time I remembered in a long time where they didn't have just one guy that they were going after over the past 5, 6, 7 years. So I really like the wide net. I think it also keeps other teams on their toes, not knowing what the Raiders are doing. There's no leaks coming out. So I really like the professionalism of what Tom and Spytek are doing in there. But, JT, I was thinking two things. One, Sean McVay and Sean Payton, man, they had some blunders in the playoffs, both of them not taking those field goals. And I've seen a couple of those this year. I mean, it seems like they don't really get hammered like the other coaches. They kind of got that grace when it comes to those two. But there was really some bad decisions made by them. You always take points. It's just how I've seen the NFL. And then I wanted to ask you something, too. Sometimes it's not what somebody says, it's what they don't say. When I heard that Adam Schefter report about him talking about Joe Brady and Davis Webb, he didn't mention Clint Kubiak. So do you see, I could be looking into it. Maybe he heard something. No, but I kind of try to listen to what people don't say. And for him not to mention Clint Kubiak as one of the guys to be the Raiders coach, when I heard him on Pat McAfee, that seemed like it was something. Thank you for taking the call. God bless you. God bless Rick.
Yeah, I didn't take it as big as you did, but a lot of people that I'm looking at in our chat today on YouTube are thinking there was some message there from Adam Schefter about why no mention of Kubiak. I give it a pass because Kubiak's still coaching. I think they're looking at it this way. If the Raiders have any hesitation with Kubiak, any, as in he's not interested or he's not interested in enough of wanting to do it, or he can't commit, and he can't commit now because he's coaching the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. If the Raiders have any doubt, and it's real doubt in the building in Vegas today, then they got to pivot. You can't if they got a gut feeling that it's not going to be Kubiak, they've got to decide between LaFleur, Brady, and Webb. And any of those guys, I think, will get the support of the Raider Nation. I mean, for me, ideally, it'd be Kubiak because I think he's the safest pick. And for those who are telling me, and I heard it here before anybody, people were telling me about he doesn't have the personality. He doesn't command the room that way. Okay. I can't tell you that until I meet him. If Kubiak gets the job and they're like, JT, get upstairs, you're going to interview the guy, and I interview him for 12 minutes, he could be really engaging. He could be quiet. I don't know. I don't know other than his podium press conferences what he's going to be like. But I would get behind him and support him because I like that type of coach who could fit in with this scheme and get a young quarterback moving quickly. Patrick is in Woodland. Thanks for waiting, Pat. Go ahead.
Thank you, man. JT, God bless you, man. I appreciate everything that you do for the Raiders. And that's just like love. And, I hate the Broncos. I'm glad they lost yesterday. The Rams, I don't like Devontae Adams. Same thing, like you quit on us, then you're a dealer and a quitter in my mind. So it's like I ain't got no respect for you at that point. They should have kicked the field goal when they had the chance, and they tried to be a hero and go for the touchdown, and they failed. And that was the end of that. I think with the coach situation with us, I really like Kubiak. I think Webb will probably get it later today. That's just how I feel about the situation. I don't want the Raiders to try to wait, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the Super Bowl, and then he decides to change his mind. He could always just change his mind for whatever reason. And, I just don't want it to be left at the altar again, like what happened last year with the other guy. So that's just how I feel about it. Give Webb a chance. I mean, he's young. He was a quarterback. He worked with Bo Nix already a couple of years, and look at Bo Nix's career.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's doing well. And I think with Mendoza coming in as a rookie, he can teach him how the game can be seen from a different point of view.
Yeah.
The NFL and college are two different animals. It's not the same. And I think he can mentor the kid. First 2-3 years, I think we'll make a dent. But it won't happen overnight. Probably going to ask you about what do you feel about a lot of these teams coming in from worst to first. Everyone's talking about the Patriots go from worst to first. They won 4 games last year. We won 3 this year. Is there a possibility?
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, after what Vrabel did, and we saw the Raiders beat the Patriots, and we know their entire roster. I don't think it's a reach. I'm not going to say the Raiders are going to make the playoffs this year. I don't see any circumstance where I could come in August and say, the Raiders are a lock to make the playoffs. But, God, we've seen a lot of instances lately where these 4-win teams are going to the playoffs. And we got a 4-win team from last year that's going to the Super Bowl. 2 years ago, a 4-win team in the Commanders went to the NFC Championship game. It's going to be harder for the Raiders because they're in the AFC West, and the Chargers are good. And Kansas City's always good. And Denver all of a sudden became really good. So for the Raiders, they got to find a playmaker, a guy like Mendoza, who not year one, but eventually can start winning and winning in the division and give the Raiders a competitive advantage. That's what I think about Mendoza. I'm not saying Mendoza is going to be better than Herbert, but Mendoza was better than Herbert in college. Herbert played college football at a high level. So did Mendoza. I'll take Mendoza over Herbert. Now, does Herbert have a little bit better arm talent than Mendoza? Yeah. Yeah, he does. But is he tougher? Herbert wears that diaper under his chin, that big, chin pad, and he's always getting banged up, and he's always playing terrible in the postseason. I'll take my chance with Mendoza over Herbert. Do I think Herbert could be? Do I think Mendoza can be better than Bo Nix? Hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah, I think Mendoza can be better than Bo Nix. Bo Nix played well. He did. Played on a great defense. They led the league in sacks. He didn't play great all year. He played clutch. He didn't play great. He played clutch. I'll take Mendoza over Bo Nix all day. And then that leads us to Mahomes. No chance. I won't take Mendoza over Patrick Mahomes, but Mahomes is still Mahomes until he starts to decline. He's coming off a severe injury. We'll see. But I have enough respect for Mahomes on that front. But we need a quarterback that might be as good and could be as good eventually. I think we're going to get him. Here's AJ in Milwaukee. Thanks for calling, man. How'd the snow hit you guys? Did you guys get hit hard with snow, or did it go under you? What happened?
Yeah, we got killed. It was like negative 47 with the wind chill last weekend.
Oh,
we just moved from the Bay Area to Wisconsin. I'm not liking it. I'm going to be going back to the Bay Area pretty quickly, I think, here. It's been pretty rough.
Are you there visiting for work, or did you move there?
I moved here. I'm originally from Wisconsin, but we moved here. My wife got a job offer in Milwaukee, so we moved back here. But we were in the Bay Area for about 10 years.
How are you going to tell your wife you want to go back?
She's in the same boat as me. Both ready to go back.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking. So I just want to go a couple different directions here. First, I heard a couple callers come in, and all respect to these callers, but I think we should not disrespect Devontae Adams. I think we did him a disservice more than he did us a disservice. He played fantastic for us, and we changed that. So I don't want to have any discourse towards him. I love him as a player. I was rooting for him. I'll always root for Devontae Adams. But I want to kind of go talk about Mendoza a little bit. You were talking about how he has a really high upside. You take him over Herbert, you take him over these other guys. I will too. I think when going gets tough, he gets going. You watch him in any of these playoff games, he's getting hit in the mouth. He's getting headhunted, and he's playing as hard as he's ever played. Better than anyone I've seen play in those playoffs. So I'm really excited about him. I think with him coming in, it would be ideal to pair him with a nice, young, offensive-minded head coach. Will that be Davis Weber, Kubiak? I think the Raiders, they really want Kubiak, but they don't want what happened last year to happen again this year. What I mean by that is, I like Pete Carroll. Didn't go well, obviously. I have a lot of respect for him, but I think he had kind of a pivot. They really wanted Ben Johnson. Didn't work out. Almost a last-minute pivot to get him into the building and bring Pete Carroll here. They might be a little bit hesitant this time around. If they're not hearing good things or positive things from Kubiak, they might go with a Davis Webb. They might go with someone else, but that's something to take a look at. But thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you. I appreciate the call. That's interesting. Very interesting that he talked about getting to Milwaukee, Clay, and then maybe turning around and moving back. Your Michigan roots, my New York roots. I left New York. I love my family. Everybody knows who listens to me how much I love my mom and dad, who are still with us, and my sisters. I left solely, not for a job, not for a career move. I left for the weather. I moved out west to San Diego, and I lived in L.A. in the Bay Area, now here for the weather. I want to say I can't. I choose not to live in that weather. It's really difficult to live in that weather year-round, because here's the hook that no one talks about. No one gets into this. We know the snow. We know the 18 inches. It's very rare. It's the rain in the summer. It's the rain in the spring. In the fall, you got to add in the month and a half of rain that we don't get out here in the desert, Clay.
Oh, when you live out west, all your time is for yourself. You don't have to consistently mow the grass, then rake the leaves. And all that stuff happens when all the good stuff is going on in sports. Yeah. And at the same time, during the winter, hey, shoveling the snow and scraping the ice off the windshield, that's an everyday occurrence. And don't forget, you got to do it for other people that you love, or maybe a woman down the street who can't do it themselves. Your time is taken up from having to deal with weather-related occupations that drive you crazy. And next thing you know, that's how you spend the rest of your life. You have a choice. You don't have to live in it.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. My buddies who are out here, one of my best friends was in my wedding, and he came out with a group of friends that I didn't know well, and they came out, they went to the Eagles at Sphere. Get this, they're at the Eagles show, and this is the biggest thing. They said it was one of the best. Vince Gill opens up the show and says, Joe Walsh is sick. Joe Walsh will not be performing tonight. Vince Gill took over all the Joe Walsh. So you got to remember at Sphere. At Sphere, like if you have someone who's sick, you can take their song. No, you can't remove their song because they have all the video set. The video set in advance. So Vince Gill did all of the Joe Walsh songs. I'm a fan of Joe Walsh, but he gets trippy and weird. And sometimes he's not A-list preferred for me. He's good. Vince Gill is always great. Oh, my God. Vince Gill doesn't miss a note. He's got a beautiful voice. As he took over for Glenn Fry, Glenn Fry's son is in the band, and they had a great time. So then the next day we're watching football. I'm getting a recap of all this. And to watch guys, and all these guys are married, so their wives are back east dealing with the snowstorms. And all of them are looking at their apps to see if their flights are delayed and canceled.
Oh, what a wonderful
That's what's
time.
weird about living back east, when you're looking at your app going, ooh, we're not going to get home. We're in Vegas without the wives. Wives are cool. We're eating wings and drinking beer and watching football all day with JT, but they think we're coming home tonight or tomorrow. No. They're not going home till Wednesday now.
Oh.
Wednesday.
Oh.
On a big aircraft, on a big airline. Big airline couldn't rebook them tomorrow, rebooking them Wednesday.
What does that tell you when you try to escape to Las Vegas and get that escape, and next thing you know, in the middle of all the fun, you're like, I have to go and figure this out. I have to be responsible because everything is in peril. And now I have to explain to my wife, my girlfriend, Yeah, I'm going to need a few more days here in Vegas without you.
But the weather should enable these planes to take off, right? They take off from Vegas. They're going back east and then eventually land. I mean, it's not like it's a blizzard in New York now. The blizzard's kind of going away. But because of all the flights being canceled earlier in real time, they can't get back.
And next thing you know, it all clusters into each other. But for Vegas, they constantly need flow. They need back and forth, and that's how this city operates. Everyone else can kind of go on their own schedule, but for Vegas, this is the lifeblood of this town. If it doesn't run right, Vegas doesn't run right.
And when you find out that you're in Vegas and you're getting delayed or your flight's canceled, you should have fun. A lot of times, my kids call me the Brick Tater, and when say we're in Jacksonville and our flight gets canceled, I freak out. My kids and wife don't. I'm kind of like, I got to get back to work. I got to do the show, and I'm very tense, so I can't have fun. When you're in Vegas and your flight gets canceled, get right after it. There's certain bars that want your business. Get after it. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You're in Vegas. You're not in Des Moines, Iowa. You're not in Des Moines, Iowa. Enjoy yourself if your flight's delayed here.
Yeah, go ahead and put it on the card. And at the same time, you'd really wish you had a little more restitution from the airlines that have just canceled you and pushed you off to the side till Wednesday. Good Lord, let's have some repayment of problem solved in it. It ruins the lifestyle, but it also ruins your mind of like, man, I don't want to go back to Vegas again because remember what happened last time.
Yeah, you want to have that bad taste in your mouth. I'm watching a replay of the snow in Denver yesterday. Man, that was something for the Patriots to get on the plane and go home with a win like that. And a win like that's a long flight from Denver to either Rhode Island. They fly into Providence or they fly into Boston, depending on. What a win for Mike Vrabel. We'll stay with that. Hey, coming up next, I'm going to get into the Mike McCarthy hire. And I'm going to tell you a story about this a little bit. And then we have an insider from The Athletic, good guess, from Pittsburgh on that hire. Why didn't Pittsburgh hire Davis Webb? Why isn't Pittsburgh waiting for Kubiak? Why did they go with Mike McCarthy completely against the grain of what they do? We'll talk about that on the other side. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. I met with them today. Had a beautiful sit down over on Sahara, right there at Fort Apache. Had a nice hour conversation about what we're going to do with Raising Cane's going forward, our Super Bowl vision with them. What a great partner. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love, proud partner of Raider Nation Radio. Thank you, everybody. We are rolling and out of here. I thought that was a good show. We have 800 people in here. Thank you. Leave them wanting a little bit more. Everybody enjoy the rest of the day. Mad Dog tonight. Please hit subscribe. Come on, man. Hit subscribe right now. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe and share. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Mad Dog tonight, 8 to 11 Pacific time.